Hi there. This week, it's another Life Hacks episode. Johnny and Yusuf from Propane Fitness are joining me as we originally intended to do a podcast about relationships, and we didn't even get round to the topic. So after an hour of us all chatting shit, we decided to just do a Life Hacks episode. Relationships will be coming up, and I might actually, if enough people are interested, I might just post the hour and a bit of what we ended up talking about, because it was actually pretty funny, undirectional, but quite interesting. Coming up soon, I've got Corey Allen from the Astral Hustle podcast, also the creator of Release Into Now, which is my favorite guided meditation. I'm actually sitting down with him tomorrow, and I'm going to be going through from beginning to developing your practice in meditation, how mindfulness can be for everybody. I'm also sitting down with Quinn Hennick from Juggernaut Training Systems to go through some mobility myths and work out, to try and cut through some of the bullshit about what mobility, stability, and flexibility mean in a performance perspective. And I've managed to get Johan Hari, author of Lost Connections, recently on Joe Rogan's podcast, and an absolute intellectual monster. I managed to get him to say yes to come on. So I can't wait to sit down with these guys. Feeling really fortunate. But before that, obviously, biggest guests that I could have, Johnny and Yusuf from Propane Fitness. Let's go.
Excellent. You could go there with your laptop.
What makes me laugh about that Continental place is the fact that it's the quietest bar in all of Newcastle. That's both in terms of customers and volume coming out of the speakers.
Surprisingly quiet for customers.
Yeah, and through the back is a room which is even more private and quiet.
Yeah, it's almost eerie.
What's this graveyard room at the back for?
Whose idea was it to put this here? Why is it still here?
Yeah.
How is this place?
Why are the desks laid out like a 1940s exam hall?
And why do they only hire Spanish people?
Well, it's called Continental, isn't it?
So they have to make it authentic, but they give you little bits of steak or whatever as well.
I wouldn't mind.
I've never had bits of steak. I just have things that kill him.
Oh yeah, the peanuts. They give you like little meatballs, often pork or peanuts actually. So
okay, so they're either sacrilege or fatal.
Yeah.
To people in our friendship group.
They're kuffar, aren't they?
So they are the kuffar. Anyway, life hacks. We're going to do life hacks 103. Johnny is delirious after a day of playing golf.
Life hacks 103.
Would you believe that of all of the things that you do, all of the things that you put your body through, it's 25 to 11 and you're wrecked off swinging around. I mean, what's a golf club weigh?
Like that's not hard.
3 kilos?
That's not hard.
It was the walking.
Yeah.
It was the list.
It is the list. It's the NEPA. The NEPA.
So many terms for it. You saw the guy in the news recently who was given pregabalin for pain and claimed that it made him gay. and then his dad stepped into the newspapers and said he's always liked boys. So
what's pregabalin?
Yeah, what is pregabalin?
Just a painkiller for neuropathic pain, but like, it definitely is not listed on the side effects that it makes you gay. There is no question that. Well, unless he is the first recorded case of it. But then I love how his dad was like, no, guys, calm down.
Come on, mate, stop us around.
He's always like boys.
Gavin, you've had lads around all week.
Shut up, Dad.
Oh, man.
Okay,
On the topic of people being scared straight or scared gay, we did Mrs. Empress this week, where 2 of our event managers dressed up as women for charity, men's prostate cancer, raised money for that. Mental amount of money raised, like $5,000 raised in the night, which was
great.
Awesome. And we've got a guy who works for us who's gay, and upon seeing one of our event managers come out dressed as a woman, he said that he'd been scared straight. He said, I don't like boys anymore.
Changed my mind.
So, you know, all these
Savage.
Pray the Gay Away camps in America? You don't need them. Scare them straight.
Pray the gay away.
You not seen these?
No.
The priests that are clearly gay themselves, but they're
just projecting. They're projecting
I have to take the power of Jesus to make you straight to back the women like the normal. It's like they were all Bill Cosby as well. So
I watched last night. I watched an episode of Family Guy where Lauren Conrad from The Hills is on it, and she says it's all part of a big publicity stunt at the moment. They're actually CGIing a sex tape of me and Bill Cosby, and it's Bill Cosby like undressing. We are gonna do the ziggity zap and the zoo. Like 2 years later, that could not be any more inappropriate.
CGIing.
So she said that they were CGIing a sex tape of her and him, but this is before all of the shit came out about Bill Cosby. It's so
apparently that's going to become a thing soon, that we're not going to be able to use video evidence as a
because CGI is going to be so good.
Yeah,
there was a thing like that I saw. It'll be on Facebook. It'll be fake news probably.
Yeah,
but
it'll be Zuck.
There was a video of Barack Obama speaking, saying like really weird shit. It was like Donald Trump is clearly a moron.
Yeah,
and then it splits the screen, and it's got the guy who's actually doing the voice. And he's completely CGI'd Obama, and you're like, that is fucking mental.
But Sam Harris touches on that, right, with the Ham Saris thing. Like the same.
Oh yeah, he does.
Someone's made a version of me on the internet.
So I completely support it. It's like, there's a little bit of your voice that says you don't support it, Ham.
Someone's made a kind of humorous version of my, but it's clearly
that's a very good impression.
Ridiculous, but it's not
slow. It's too fast. That's because you listen to him at 1.5 times speed.
It's very like.
It's not in fully formed prose enough. Like he's just so. It's as if.
So beginning the podcast, then I'm going to talk about something very boring for a very long time.
That's good.
Start with some housekeeping to the Sam Harris podcast.
Ham Saris. Right, Life Hacks 103.
Life Hacks.
First one, I've been collecting these. So I've been writing some in on a daily basis. We've had the ones that were like apps and stuff so far. What I've been doing is I've been using like a note as a life hack diary of stuff that I do, and I think I need to put that in the podcast. Cool. So first one I've got, unfollow the people that you hate from social media. And both of you are culprits of not doing this. And I'm not going to name the plethora of people.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So the thing is that...
we both get a lot of pleasure out of following the people that... Is it even hate, or is it just like car crash?
It's the catharsis. Entertainment.
But it's not, because you come away from it a lot of the time indignant.
True.
It was David's analysis of it, of like she's got the gall to assume that she's passing off, what is it?
She's passing off what is offensively obvious as wisdom, and she's got the arrogance to even do it. It's like
it's you unfollow the people that you hate. Like you can, especially on Facebook, you don't need to unfriend them.
You can just unfollow.
Go onto the profile
people as well.
Yeah, unfollow them for 30 days.
In the break.
So go onto the profile. Click on friends. Click on unfollow. You'll never have to see the stuff again. And that is, for want of a better term, if someone's not in the same city as you, unfollowing someone on Facebook is tantamount to them dying. Never going to see them again.
Good God.
Never going to see them again, unless they comment on something that you comment on as well. Unfollowing people on Instagram is a little bit more tricky, because every time that I think about it for ages and then eventually decide to do it, I do it to the tiny minority of people who have these fucking unfollow checkers set.
Me? What, they message you? Why did you unfollow me?
Yeah.
Or why do you care?
Yeah. I've had it's happened 3 times in the last year.
Really?
That's lame. Like you've called them out on it now, which is great. But like, to get the hint, if someone unfollows you and you've got something to check that as well.
But you
just take it gracefully.
You shouldn't follow the people that you hate. Like I know there's definitely a cathartic pleasure from watching the car crash of someone else's life go on, for someone who you kind of love to watch what they're doing, but you also kind of don't at the same time. It nets a negative. Bottom line is, it nets a negative.
You are right.
We are in the midst of battling against phone use. Like, talk about the medium that you're doing it through.
It's very much a guilty pleasure that I love following car crash basic bitches, and seeing that you're right. Like it's a net negative thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's no enrichment of my life.
So I think it nets a positive. I know I always do this.
I know you do.
I'm the Jeremy Clarkson of these discussions.
I suppose it has to, otherwise we wouldn't continue doing it.
I disagree.
So
it's bad for you all the time.
It's the Byron Katie approach to it.
Okay.
Byron, the book I was going to give you that I never gave you.
This one that you said changed your life and that you never told me about until I asked you.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
So her argument is that anything, Yusuf knows this far more deal than I do, but things that bother you are a chance to investigate why it bothers you and try and uncover a deeper, because most of the time, stuff, realistically, something that someone is doing over social media, yes, it bothers you. It might be because they're really stupid or basic or have said something you don't agree with, but that is usually just something internal with you. And it is a chance, I find, to that's really fucked me off. Why has that really fucked me off? And you always see another side of it from going through her process.
But that is like taking LSD, going on a trip, seeing the other side of it, going, interesting introspective experience that I really should go away and reflect on what's going on. And then every day for the rest of your life, just taking more LSD, going back to the same place with the same person.
I see what you mean. So I think the point is that you get exposed to annoying things anyway. And social media is just
Would you elect to do that?
So I think if you can get to the point where it bothers you less, then great.
Cool. So up until the point at which it plateaus, we've managed to try and come up with a way to use following annoying people online for a source of personal development, which is definitely flipping a negative on its head.
I think if something bothers you and it's someone else doing something, it's probably you, not them. More than likely.
It's them. They're knobs.
Yusuf, what do you think?
Are they knobs? I think they are.
But why do you think they're knobs?
Because they are. They're caused shit.
But it's because they're doing something that
triggers me. They're doing something that triggers
a friction.
Me. They're posting something that triggers me.
There's something to be said for if something triggers you, it is potentially a pointer to something in yourself. I don't know whether it applies 100% of the time, because I could think of things that would, you can think of things that would trigger you, but don't have any kind of deeper truth. They're just annoying,
that's
an
true.
annoying bell. Or
getting cut up in traffic is annoying for the sake of it occurring.
Yeah, I don't think it reveals much about your inner truths.
Right.
Well, it shows that you have a belief that I shouldn't get caught up in traffic, which is false, because you do get caught up in traffic.
There's an interesting one about why we're so angry about in cars. It's because of a heightened sense of awareness, because we're not used to going at that speed, even at slow speed. Exactly because
it's always that. It's always look, if you're not paying attention, we know and you could have killed us both.
Yeah. We know that people die in cars. That's why. Yusuf, have you got one?
So I can't remember if I mentioned this last time, but this ties into the capture process that I think you have to always have. So with 20 years ago, it would be carrying a notebook in your pocket, and every time file of facts. And if something comes into your awareness that needs to either be actioned or looked up or noted down, or an insight or something, it would go down in the notebook. And when you get home, you would then put it into your process, which is you'd look through your notebook at the end of the day, you'd be like, right, I've got these things. These need to be either put into the action list or whatever. And so for me, Toby, which is a browser extension for Chrome, allows me to quickly organize anything. So if someone sends me an article that I need to read, or there's a video that comes up that I should watch at some point or whatever, and I can't action it right away, I can create separate queues of reading queue, listening queue, and then frequently visited thing. And then you can subsplit those into, for me, for example, it would be medicine, study, propane or business stuff, and then work that needs to be done. And so having that as a capture means that you no longer lose out on someone sends you an article and you're like, oh yeah, I'll read that later. But because it's a very
cleverly put together bookmarks manager, isn't it?
It's basically
great. We did actually bring this up on the last one. However, you've come at it from a different angle there, which I think was worthwhile.
I think so, because there's you can try and capture it at the point it comes in, but then you have no control over whether someone sends you a WhatsApp or a text message or whatever.
You're speaking about this a little bit in the way that a 10th Dan black belt would talk about punching someone in the face. I do think that you're totally right, that you need to. We are stressed by having too much stuff that we need to remember. Our brains are built for processing information, not remembering information, right?
Exactly.
Decision making, not retention.
It's built for having thoughts, not holding them.
So,
David Allen.
So there's a couple of layers there, and one of them is the decision that you sit down, you open a new tab, you're like, right, I want to read something. If you have to make a decision every time, or run through, obviously you can't mark your iMessages as unread, for example, or whatever. So
such an annoying. Why have they?
It's a very annoying feature.
Yeah.
So you have to then be like, right, I need to read something. Oh, there was that thing that Chris sent me a couple of weeks ago, and I was like,
scroll back.
Whereas instead, if you have the reading queue, you just pick the first thing in that queue. The decision's made for you.
One of the problems is that a lot of, like 85% of people's browsing is now done on mobile, and you can't get Toby for mobile. So you've got to be on laptop. It's good for you guys who
mobile.
are
You can get Pocket, which is similar, but that's just for reading.
I tried that. Yeah.
Evernote, I suppose, as well, but
it's a bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think mobile browsing is an absolute fool's game.
85% of you who are listening, right?
Fools.
Just don't know what you're on about.
I don't think I read. I don't think I would ever just sit and browse. It's normally listen. I listen to stuff.
Right, have you got one, Johnny? If you don't have one, I've got one.
I could do one that I've been experimenting with recently. It's more of like a...
Is it NoFap?
No. And this is something that I speak to a lot of clients about who struggle with just training, getting their training in. I think it's the case with trying to do anything that you want to do consistently. So used to train 4 days a week, done that like for as long as I can remember. Started finding that I'd have a particularly hard session, or like schedule would be slightly different, and I just go, I'll train tomorrow. And then it gets to Friday, and you realise that you've got to train
4 days of training.
You've got to train Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you're like, right, well, that's going to wreck me. And I was starting to get niggles, and so I was just like, right, I'm just going to try and train 6 days a week, take the same volume, shorter sessions, and just part of my morning is get up, do morning routine stuff, go to the gym, start work after that. And doing that has been really positive so far.
So I've only done it for 2 weeks. What's the main change? That volume stayed the same but spread across more sessions? Or you're doing morning training?
So shorter sessions. So there's less of a barrier to like, oh my God, I'm going to be in the gym for 2 hours. Each of the sessions are therefore easier.
Slightly lower impact.
Yeah.
I'm presuming you've had to get your coach to adapt
to sign it off. Yeah.
Yeah. The program.
So I think he has probably up the volume ever so slightly. There's a few more assistance exercises.
It would be silly not to, right?
Yeah, but it's just because before, like, the way that I operated anyway was today's a training day, or tomorrow's a training day, today's a rest day.
Yeah. And
your whole routine's different.
Yeah.
For me anyway, like the time I start work and all that sort of stuff.
Inherent inconsistency to your daily routine, built into your daily routine.
Exactly.
Or built into your bi-daily routine.
And so, just especially during the week, so I'll still try and take Sunday off if I can, but didn't today.
I quite like a Sunday training session. It feels like an extra day that I'm getting in that I probably wouldn't have done. And I can do, like today I did 90 minutes. This wasn't a very fun day. I did 90 minutes of rehab and then binned myself on a watt bike doing intervals for 20 minutes.
Binned yourself.
Binned.
That's my new term for what I do in the gym.
Just binning yourself.
Just binned myself. Absolutely did. I properly, fully wrecked myself. That's really interesting. I'd be very interested to see what difference that has on stuff like your metabolism, like fat loss and stuff like that.
I think, and that's something else I've noticed is just like, you two maybe don't get it, but I'll have days where sporadically I wake up and I just feel a bit more tired than normal, like a bit mentally fuzzy.
Yeah.
If you just go train, like you're pretty much like after a training session, I pretty much feel the same.
Today was a perfect example of that. So last night I've travelled around loads this week, like 20 to 30 hours of travelling I've done this week. Last night went to Manchester at 9 o'clock, got in at 6 a.m, got up at 12 midday, really groggy, but was like, right, usually on a weekend I kind of let my routine slip a little bit because it allows me to come back on a Monday with a bit of set of fresh eyes. didn't do it, treated today like a Monday, got up, journal, meditate, run wood, cook, go to the gym. And by the time that I'd been myself on a watt bike doing a really, really horrible interval workout, I came out of the gym and there was a sense of, not only a sense of euphoria that you naturally get, the dopamine kick that you get from sort of training, but it was glazed with this extra sense that I'd done it under a particularly high level of fatigue and I'd overcome a bunch of stuff that I probably wouldn't have done usually. There was an extra level of
glaze. I like that.
Yeah, it was a veneer of just extra little achievement of niceness. It was quite nice.
It was because it was two people really. It was something that you said about if you feel like you're having a bad day, like you can't be bothered or whatever. Like if you go train, you've kind of set the wheels in motion of like I've already ticked off something positive.
Yeah,
and it's such a cringy thing to say, but there's something about like sweating or doing something physical on a daily basis. You can feel
it's such a reset.
Better about yourself.
I would go as far as to say that going to the gym and training is as much of a reset for what has happened before then as going to bed. Going to bed is.
Yeah, massively.
Yeah, definitely.
I can wake up on a morning with, especially now I've been meditating more recently and practicing a bit more mindfulness. I find that my emotions from the night before, my thoughts from the night before carry over through my sleep. On average, I only sleep 6.5 hours a night, so that might contribute a little bit, but I find that they carry over a lot. If I go into the gym,
you can go in with a terrible mood and
I can come out and it's as much of a difference between before and after as if I was sleeping. So yeah, it's an interesting
This is that, and the most consistent person I know with training is digital audio broadcast Gibson. So he trains DAB Gibson. He just trains 6 days a week. Like I do his programming for him, and he trains 6 a.m. Monday to Friday. He trains 6 a.m. Monday to Thursday, has Friday off, trains Saturday, Sunday, and he very, very rarely, unless he's traveling, very rarely skips a session. He's like, by 9 a.m. I've trained, and then like the people who try and fit it in their day later. And anything can happen.
It becomes increasingly hard. As we were saying with meditation,
the
more you try and convince yourself that you can skip your morning session and do it later on in the day, the less and less likely it is that you're going to complete it. Until it's midnight and you're like,
the other thing to consider as well is that once it's done, the anxiety of having to do it is gone for the rest of the day.
That's a huge factor. Ironically, that's
the main reason that I meditate on the morning. Because I know that for the rest of the day, I don't need to think I need to meditate still.
Don't you feel like? I think for me, there's a sense of like, I've kind of won that side of my life. Like
the box has been ticked. That's one already. That was another reason why the 6 month sobriety thing for me was such a keystone when I did it
because it facilitated
last year. Yeah, for sure. Because it meant that I could overcome. Right, I've already conquered this. What's next? What's coming next on the list? So it was.
I think it's so nice to get to like, if I get to like 9:30 or 10 a.m. and I've done like meditated, run wad, all that stuff, and I've trained, and it's like that's like me out the way. Like now I can just work and I don't have to worry about anything else. And when I finish work, I'm done. Like I'm absolutely done.
Yeah.
And you just feel.
And the thing is as well, especially for me, your training probably wouldn't permit this because with powerlifting, you need to give yourself more time to rest. A little bit more taxing, I guess, physiologically. But for me, if I do that and I think, right, it's 6 o'clock, what do I want to do? Fancy another session. I'm going to go back in. I'm going to do extra programming. I'm going to do a workout. I'm going to do bodybuilding style workout after I did CrossFit this morning. Or I'm going to go and do some technique work. I can go and do that.
It's bonus.
Yeah. And you're like, fuck.
It's not catching up.
It's not. You're not playing catch up. You're getting ahead, which is there's a really good sense of satisfaction. I think a lot of people, if there's anything that you need to do, like if it's fucking walking the dog, doing, spending time reading with your kid, if that's something that needs to be done,
do it first.
Crack it out.
Yeah,
get it cracked out so that you know that the box has been ticked. The rest of the day is yours then.
Because then the rest of the day you're not thinking, when am I going to be able to...
That anxiety is so...
It's so crippling. Interesting taking the same session. So if I do it, if I try and train at like 4, for example, or 9.
Mhm.
If I train at 9 knowing, like, I need to get to work, like, I need to start work soon, what you're able to do in, like, your rest periods are less.
Parkinson's
you
law,
immediately,
isn't it?
yeah, you don't look at your phone, you're in, you're out, you're like, fuck, I just trained in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, normally you piss around and it takes ages. So yeah, I used to, when I worked at KPMG, I did it all the time. Like, I always trained in the morning. But I have such bad memories of it because it was 6 o'clock in the morning, and it was
before
like,
KPMG.
yeah, well, yeah, but it was that, and then I had like an hour long commute, and it was always like really hard training as well.
Yeah.
So, but a little bit later, drive to the gym, miss rush hour, train then. It's really
Ideal if you can.
big fun. Of course, not everyone can do that, but realize I've just taken the microphones. Sorry.
That's fine. Next one, Apple AirPods.
Oh God. That's so good. That's so good. You know, audio broadcast supports him.
I see.
Yeah.
Digital.
For his audio broadcasts, yeah.
So they are, without a doubt, you said this before, single biggest change in quality of life was something that you came up with for one of your last life hacks. Apple AirPods for me are, from upon purchase, quality of life instantly increases on aggregate by 5 to 10% every day, and upon using them by 50%.
Even just by owning them.
Looking at
It's
them.
how nice they are, and
So
do you know what makes them is
A little pack of dental floss.
it's the little things about them. But I'll not spoil it.
it's just everyone needs a pair of headphones. If you're not on iPhone, I don't know how they will link up with.
I don't think they can.
But they're just Bluetooth headphones, right? So they must.
Do they not have something in them? Because wasn't that one of the criticisms of the HomePod?
I'm not sure.
There's a chip.
I wouldn't be able to.
Maybe they do work.
I wouldn't be able to elaborate. Anyway, if you are someone who uses your headphones ever, you should buy a pair of AirPods. So they come in a case. The little case is an external charger for the earbuds. The buds get 4 hours charge out of about 15-minute dock in the external charger, and the external charger has about 3 full charges of the buds.
Yeah.
The charger, the external case is plugged in with the lightning cable, so you only ever need to take one cable away when you're on holiday or when you're traveling. The one for your phone and the one for that. They link up with your phone instantly. You can program a double tap on the earbud of the left to pause, on from the right to skip to the next track. They've got inbuilt microphones in the bottom of the earbud so that you can use them for wireless hands-free. I don't think they actually use Bluetooth for them either. I think it's a different kind of technology.
Yeah.
It's like an NFC, is it near field communication or something like that?
There's something different about them.
So if you don't have a brick wall in between you, I've done it in Tyneside before, and I can be 12 meters away. I can be on the opposite side of the hall and still have crystal clear communication from them.
I had that this morning.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that this morning.
You just put them down wherever you want. And yeah, like you're walking around in the house, especially if you're taking phone calls and stuff like that. A phone call actually ends up stopping whatever else you're doing. Whereas with these, you can have headphones in, do the washing up, do your cooking. They've got noise cancelling in, so the person on the other end hears just what you're saying. They are unbelievable. The one caveat for this is they're expensive. They're 160 quid, 149 quid.
Yeah, they are.
They're expensive,
They are.
but they're worth it by
So
fucking worth it.
I've had like Bose headphones, and I've never had Beats. I don't know, they're kind of like the other competitor, aren't they?
Yeah.
Other like cheaper headphones, and nothing has come anywhere near. But it's not like, I think what I don't feel like, people turn off and they're like, oh, they're 160 quid or whatever. But it's how effortless using them is. Take one out, pauses the music, put it back in again. So if you listen to like a podcast, put it back in again, it recognizes that you paused it, jumps it back a second, plays it again,
presses play.
I get in the car, so if I'm on the phone in the car, like phone's on the Bluetooth to the car, before I get out the car, AirPods out, put my AirPods in, phone's still in my pocket, get out the car, somehow the AirPods realise, hold on, the phone's disconnected from the car. He wants the call.
How about this for you? So I get in my car and my car automatically picks them up. So I'm listening to a podcast in my earphones, get into the car, starts playing in the car.
Yeah.
Then all that I need to do is double tap the earbud and it'll flick back off the car and back into the earbuds. Unbelievable.
It's because what someone at Apple has done has thought, what are the daily situations people with headphones face?
Yeah.
let's make AirPods good for that.
Yeah, they are without a doubt absolutely fantastic.
So I honestly think, I mean, obviously, like the return you get from a MacBook and an iPhone is way beyond that. But in terms of like an accessory from Apple,
unbeatable.
It's
shit all over an Apple Watch. Absolutely shit all over.
Yeah, definitely. Well, they're just so good. Jordan today was showing me. So I walked in with AirPods in and went over and like signed in and said hello. And he said, like, is there anything playing in them, or are you just wearing them look trendy? Mm-hmm. I was like, I am actually listening, but it is a problem when you're not listening to something.
Yeah,
like where to put them. And he was like, oh, put them behind your ears.
That's what I do.
So I didn't realise.
I sit my buds on the top of my ears, with the wider bit behind. And that's it, and you can listen. As if Jordan's told you that. He gives me so much shit for putting them on top of my ears.
Really?
Little bastard. Anyway, AirPods, you should buy them. Next.
What do you mean behind the ears?
So if you can imagine that they sit on top of your ear like you would with a cigarette. Like, you know, like
they
stay
there.
They stay there,
yeah. They're wedged in.
Have you tried using the AirPods case as an iPhone holder?
It's very precarious.
It is. So so if you Google it, there's examples of people doing it. So like if you found yourself on a train or a plane, you want to watch something on your phone, partially open the AirPods case, sit your phone in it, and it does like go, sits back, and then you got your AirPods in.
No
sat
way.
watch your phone.
I'm gonna have to
So there was a guy doing it in a cafe. This was before I owned any, and they came out and I was like, oh, they're shit, they're stupid. Yeah.
And they look like you've got two Oral-B toothbrushes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he sat eating with his phone in the corner of the thing in the AirPods case with his AirPods in. I was like, that looks so cool.
Fucking baller.
And he had an iPad mini as well. I was like, that man likes Apple stuff.
I'm going to start wearing Oral-B toothbrush heads on my ears to try and like fit in with the POV version.
They're just so prohibitively expensive.
But you're right. Like I thought that was a good chance for me to go to the toilet because I don't have nothing to contribute about AirPods because I don't have them. But the hands-free calls alone, I think, would sell me on them.
Unbelievable. And do you know what's even cooler that you guys did the other day that I never even thought of? Like, so on the Propane Instagram, there was a multiple stories, basically like a kind of a video podcast, I guess, like a 2-minute, 3-minute video podcast split up into the 15-second stories.
So it was a Facebook Live.
Johnny painstakingly
takes ages.
It's
an app called Cut Story that divides it, but you have to individually upload them.
Okay. And they were walking down the street, and one had the left and one had the right, and the sound quality is matched from both.
So cool.
And it's just it's sick. I honestly think if you were in a cafe and you needed, I've run into that Chris, the trader guy, like just randomly you run into someone who you're desperate to think with.
Podcast.
Right. Take this earbud.
Here's a microphone.
Press record on the thing, and you'd have it.
Cool. Like loads of conference calls. Like you want to speak, like two people want to have the same phone call.
Yeah, fine. Where you go? Right, Yusuf, have you got one?
Yeah, so this isn't a very sexy one, but I am currently dealing with a lot of companies, too many to keep track of in terms of following up responses and so on. So what I do is I have a list on Wunderlist called Waiting For. And if I've sent out a request to these companies, maybe I've got 10 or 12 on the go at one time, I just add it to that list, and then I know that they're the people that I'm waiting for a response from.
Okay.
Alternatively, you can do it all within Apple Mail. If you use Mail Butler or Follow Up Then, which is Johnny's preference, Mail Butler allows you to tag an email as you send it. You tick a box on the email itself that says, remind me in 2 weeks, and it adds a reminder into Apple Reminders, links to that particular sent email, and then cancels the reminder if you get a response to that email.
That's clever.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah. Again, what we're talking about is just capture, isn't it? It's just removal. Yeah. It's just removal of having to remember stuff yourself. And my reminders now are starting to back up so much because I'm using them so much.
Well, it's
all the time.
Because I think because I got criticised from my uncle who was like, Yusuf, you need to just rely on your memory more. Stop being such a pussy with relying on calendars and things. And it's like, that's fine for you to say if you're retired and don't have anything, but like
what to do is remember to get the cat out.
Try doing a medical degree and running a company.
Well, you get to the point where it exceeds the capacity of your memory, or even if it doesn't, even if you have an internal system, it's going to stress you out by having to maintain the open loops. Whereas if it's just completely out of your head, you know that I can just check the waiting. Oh yeah, I haven't heard back from NPower yet. Okay, I'll chase them up. Yeah. So
there's two, I think, really important caveats with that, and it's you need to practice the skill of capture, I think.
Yeah,
and I think you need
it's not something you fall into immediately.
Well, because like everyone's had the experience where you sat doing something else and suddenly the thought of like, oh my god, I was meant to do 2 days ago. I was meant to do that.
It's a horrible feeling.
Oh, awful.
It's jarring. It's like falling.
That's your brain going like, haha, dickhead. You didn't process this at the time. Now look what's happened. So there's that side of it. So you need to practice it, but also if you just build up lists and you don't have like a time in the day where you look at them, then it's also then when you look at your list 3 days later, you're like, oh fuck, I was meant to do.
Oh my god, yeah.
You're like, well,
I've batched the page.
Yeah.
So all you've done is captured it, and then you don't have a capture for the capture.
Yeah, you've just pushed it somewhere else. You're like, oh, I'll look at it later. Something that the guy that we were talking about earlier, Ari Meisel, talks about to-do lists or correctly managing your flow of things is about reminding yourself of the thing you need to do at the time you need to be reminded. So like he's big on using email as an inbox. So like sending yourself an email on Monday morning when you know that on Monday morning you need to do the thing, rather than write it on a list and hope on Monday morning you look at you look at the list.
Which is an argument for having notifications off on your phone, apart from the ones that you have
reminders,
put in
calendar.
There. Yeah.
The thing is, maybe you two, I don't know. I think you've mentioned this before, where like something pops up, like a notification, like a reminder pops up, and you're like, oh, shit, I can't do it now. Snooze, or like, oh, just fuck off, just get away.
Yeah.
And then it's not like. You haven't dealt with it, so it pops up again, or
I've tried to stack the deck in my favour now, so I have as much in the reminder on my iPhone and also on my laptop as possible. So if I need to follow a link or send an email to someone, it has the email address of the person in there.
Have you ever done the opposite, where you absentmindedly create a reminder? I've done this to myself quite a few times now, where you get a reminder come up on your phone and it just says Friday 7 p.m. And you're like, oh no! Like, all I know now is that I have something important.
Oh, the anxiety just gets turned up to 11. Do you want me to turn it up to 12? How about this? So I use Siri a lot to do reminders. What I'll do is I'll set a reminder on Friday. Remind me to email Santander about my current account. Do.
Okay, I'll remind
you on Friday. Right, brilliant. Don't look at it, put it away. Reminder comes back up. Siri's bastardized my Middlesbrough accent to something which is completely incomprehensible.
Yeah.
Remember the donuts are frying in the kitchen or something, and you're like,
oh, Siri.
What is that?
That's happened so much as well.
So Siri's great for when you're driving, I think.
Yeah.
So the number of things that occur to me while I'm driving.
Do you know what it's great with?
What?
AirPods.
Apple app, yeah. So yeah, like just saying, hey Siri. Hey Siri. Hey Siri.
It's good.
There we go.
And then it just captures it, and they'll be listening to what we're saying.
Well, they're listening.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Zuckerberg's listening all the time, isn't he?
Yeah.
You stop. This is a 3-person podcast, not 4. Have you got the male voice? I've got the female voice. But then I also don't have a girlfriend.
You can set it on South African accent.
Can you?
No way.
Okay, I'll remind you.
I'll remind you.
Semen with a bit of blood.
Oh, blood with a bit of semen. It's a really important distinction.
Johnny, have you got one?
Was it a normal masturbation?
I did have one. What was it? Sudocrem.
Right, I've got one.
You ever seen an advert for Sudocrem before? It's the first advert I've ever seen for
Pretty
Sudocrem.
good. There must be...
Have I said... Oh, got it.
Yep.
Have I mentioned Pomodoros?
Yeah.
Before?
Yeah, but you can if you can wrap them in a
different twist.
Yeah.
So, Focus Me Pro. It's a Mac app. Might be an iPhone app as well. So the problem Pomodoro.
Focused. Or have you got one called Focus Me?
Oh, I don't know. It's the one I recommended to you. Just the same one.
Okay, the one I
you've got a pro version, which means you have to pay for it. Which
it's
means
a one-off.
Which means that he definitely hasn't.
Yeah, I've got Be Focused free.
Right.
Light.
Light. It has all the ads on and stuff like that.
Watermarks you, reminders.
Pomodoro's is 25 minutes of work followed by 5 minutes break. And the idea is like to prevent you from procrastinating. Like at the start of the 25 minutes, you're like, I'm going to do this for 25 minutes and I'm going to challenge myself to see if I can do it for 25 minutes without getting
distracted. It's just 25 minutes. What's
it can't be that hard. It's really difficult to do. So you try and manage your distractions. So it's 25 minutes of like purely just doing whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. 5 minutes of total disconnection. And then you do that 4 times, then you get a longer break. So that's how the Pomodoro setup works.
It's a bit Cal Newport-y, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's practicing deep work. It's practicing getting better at like just focusing on one thing. There's loads of case studies of people using it and talk about how I used to work a 60-hour work week and now I do 8 Pomodoros a day because I've become better at.
Well, Parkinson's law is.
Yeah,
exactly
so having the power of having a deadline, the power of having like a timer counting down. I've got to finish this one thing in this time. So I've tried doing it on and off for ages. Always found that like apps are pretty like clunky or annoying, or like you forget to set it on your phone or whatever. The app for the whatever it's called, Focus Me or Be Focused or whatever, is really simple, like quite unintrusive. You just start it at the start of the day and it just runs your Pomodoros for you and just goes beep, beep, beep,
or break.
Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah.
And then it just shows. I mean, I love graphs and shit, as you probably noticed. It shows you. So you keep a to-do list, or you keep a list of all the things you would normally do on any time. So like start the day, click on the app, long list of things like what I'm going to do. All right, that one. Press play, starts Pomodoro, and then tracks it as when you want to look at like how am I spending my time. Gives you a pie chart of how your time is spent, and then gives you a bar chart of how many Pomodoros you do a day. So you're like, was it a productive week? And you think, well, I don't know, probably. And you're like, here's how I spent my time. Here's how many Pomodoros I did.
Yeah.
And it's so like, I'm a big fan of things that just, so Fitbit, like I don't have to think about like how is my sleep or how generally active am I. It's just collecting it.
Yeah.
And so this is the same thing. So
That's really
the
cool.
Pomodoro technique and that app.
Which one's the one that you use, Johnny? Can you remember? No.
I thought it was Focus Me.
We'll put it. It'll be in the description. Anyway.
It's something pro.
I
Right.
think it probably is Be Focused Pro because there is a
Focus Me.
We'll find it. We'll find it, and it'll be.
Send them cease and desist
it'll be-
letter. Someone should send someone else.
Somebody,
Cease and desist.
somewhere.
You still have a template you can use.
Another one, which is probably a little bit more of a prohibitive life hack, but is one that I'm going to stick to for the rest of my life. Automatic cars. Automatic
much.
gearbox.
Oh my god! So have I told you about Paul Not Small talking about this?
No.
So there's a guy who's a bit of a Facebook personality, Paul Turner, who I was talking to him about this topic, and he was like, "Oh yeah, people always say I'm a fucking woman for driving an automatic. All right then, you want to take that to the extreme? Or like I'll go and crank up the engine at the start and pump up my tyres every time and spray water on the windscreen. Like he's like, where does it stop? And you're like, yeah, totally agree. Like, why is it that changing the gear on the transmission is somehow the manly thing to do?
Akin to being involved in the driving experience.
Yeah.
When someone will get out and go and buy a barista-made coffee.
Yeah.
As they take the escalator and the lift to work.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
You are selecting.
As they're using an iPhone or like, it's just like.
But it's fine because I changed gear manually.
Yeah.
Like it's totally.
Yeah.
I had to drive a manual the other day and I realised how much of a ball ache it is when you go back to it.
Yeah.
And it delays you, like, because I get really pissed off, like unreasonably annoyed. Sorry, Chris, I'm stealing your life hack point.
That's fine. I know that we all agree. We might as well have all said it.
I'm just very passionate about this. So, like, I get unreasonably annoyed at people that take ages when the light goes green.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's incredibly inconsiderate to like wait for the light to go green, and then like slowly get your arse into gear, literally to pull off.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realised that
what I was saying about like, okay, it's gone amber, green, right, mirror, okay, handbrake off, neutral, clutch, first gear,
find the bite.
Oh, stalled.
Amber.
And then it's let that one person through.
Yeah.
It's like, so it's really inconsiderate. But I realised that actually it takes 2-3 times as long in a manual.
You need to be prepared.
Yeah,
you need to be fully prepared. You've got to be
gear.
so much more. I suppose maybe there's an argument that you're a little bit more of a conscious driver and you're probably a little bit more alert during driving manual, just because you're more involved in the driving experience. You are more involved in the driving experience. But I will never ever go back to having a manual car ever.
Absolutely.
I would happily leave the love of my life if she demanded that we had to have a manual car.
So
Just give her the car. Be like, right, I'm getting my own car.
Fuck off.
recent change for me, getting an automatic.
Oh, your new one is automatic.
Yeah.
Great.
Massive.
Shifting
It
quality
feels
of
like
life.
you're driving a little Dodgem, doesn't it? Like it's
Well, it just feels so like I'm driving a machine rather like whereas with a manual it's like
Riding a bike.
yeah,
such a weird pride ego thing that like I don't change gear.
I don't see that. I don't really see that argument so much online anymore. I just think it's people who maybe haven't listened to Life Hacks 103 and realised that they need to buy it. You need to buy an automatic car tomorrow. If you have a manual car,
go change it now.
Trade it in.
It's the fact that cars are still making.
Who the fuck wants to like? I don't know because I don't buy new cars. But there doesn't really seem to be much of a disparity. There's a disparity in the availability, but not a disparity in the price. So you can find an equal model, both manual and automatic.
So it's not like it's a premium luxury or something.
No, but there are fewer automatics around, and there's certain cars that you cannot get. If you want to have a Defender, which a lot of people do, the only way you'll get an automatic Defender is if someone's custom changed the transmission and the gearbox.
Is that presumably that's something to do with like
it's a 4x4
off-roading?
I'm not sure. Well, why would that be the case? Like an automatic gearbox is going to be able to control the ratio of
Much
wheels
better.
much more effectively than you can
Yeah.
with your right foot. But just buy an automatic car.
It's more petrol efficient as well now. It didn't used to be apparently.
By a distance.
But yeah,
The change gear at the right, and if you want to go fast or whatever, just put your foot down or flick it into sport.
There's usually a sport mode, yeah. So
Every car's got a go slightly quicker mode when you're in an automatic, even if it's not.
you've seen the Tesla mode.
Ludicrous
Ludicrous mode.
pack. I was in.
Is that in the Roadster?
It's in all of them. So
Really?
it's in the P100D and in the P90D you can get
Frightening.
ludicrous
The one that
3.2
causes
second
your
0 to
liver
60.
to be pressed against the back of your ribcage.
You should watch online the Tesla Model 3, which is the family SUV one with the gull wing doors. So they were trying to convey just
It's only 145 grand as well.
Yeah,
Is that the SUV?
yeah,
I think so, yeah.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty expensive, but it's fucking mental. It's unbelievable. So they were trying to convey just how quick this car was. So they put it on a track, and they were like, we've been doing these tests for ages, and no one can really understand just how fast and powerful this car is. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it on a track against an Italian sports car, and they've got a Alfa Romeo Spider pulled up next to it, like fucking quick, light Italian sports car, rapid. It says, and it's going to go up against a Tesla Model 3, pulling a flatbed with an Alfa Romeo Spider on the back of it.
Oh man!
So the Tesla beats
they love taking
in a
the
quarter
mick,
mile,
don't they?
and a quarter mile, pulling the car that it's beating.
Yeah, I've seen that video. Have you seen the one where there's a guy parked? It's in like London or something. There's a guy with a Lamborghini. He like comes in, it's like parks, and there's one of these Tesla SUVs that has a show off button. You seen that?
It flaps the wings.
The doors come up. It's going like dun, 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 and like everyone is ignoring the Lamborghini and taking photos of the Tesla. It's like there's that side of what Elon Musk does is just like class. It's just let's forget about the logistics of it. Let's make something
do it.
stupid.
Have you seen when you press the ludicrous button on it? It says like put some warnings up, like this will cause extended wear on the battery and the tyres and the transmission. Are you sure? Yes. No, I want my mummy. It was really good.
There's that clip of I think it's the new Roadster that they've not released yet. It's 2 seconds where they put it into fast mode or whatever. There's a journalist in it, and the screen goes has orange,
a laser.
Yeah, and the guy's going, oh my god!
Because they brought out a lorry now as well.
Yeah,
it's self-drive.
Yeah.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, all of them are self-drive.
Have you seen where the guy is seated? Where the lorry driver is seated?
No.
There's one single seat directly in the centre of the cockpit. It just feels like you're
Elon
driving
Musk,
a rocket. I'm gonna tag one onto the end of automatic cars, and it's full-filled petrol tanks or full-filled fuel tanks. Like the overhead cost, the time of peeling off from your journey to go to the petrol station is something that needs to be apportioned across as much profit as possible. That overhead cost needs to be apportioned across you filling your tank to push the next trip to the petrol station as far away as possible. Money's prohibitive if you don't have the cash to be able to fill your car every time. But if you do, the extra, like saving yourself 30 seconds from not holding onto the handle to fill the tank means that you need to take 3 to 5 minutes out of your journey 1 week earlier than you would have done to go back to the fuel station. Just fill the tank.
We've spoken about this countless times. The only way in which that's not the case is if two situations. I think one is if you don't use your car that often, but you fill it up. So someone who just has 60 quid of fuel sat in their car for a long time.
Okay. Well, that you tied up wealth in 60 pounds of wealth. Is
if you have a way, if you are in some way gaining interest from money that you own,
okay,
then it's a stupid idea.
Even if you have that money in a Santander 123 account, which is the highest level of interest that you're going to get, you're on 1.5% of £60.
Well, no, if you were let's say you
trading,
the trading it, or there's something you're doing to generate returns from your cash.
Okay, and what's the other one?
Well, it's all on the same thing. So it's if you're just always filling up your tank, you don't necessarily need to. If it's not too much of a detour to go to the petrol station, for example, then I think so. What I do is fill up if I know I've got a lot of driving to do, I'll fill up. If I know I'm doing what will normally take me a week, probably put half a tank in.
But why not just put the full tank in?
Because it's not
liquidity preference.
Yeah.
Because what?
I'd rather have the cash in my bank account than a full tank. Just foresight that there's that I know how much cash I have. You don't know how much cash is in your car. You know how much cash is in your bank account.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
it's just visibility,
financially prohibitive,
and also
is
for the analytics.
But I can't see aside from that point. I can't see any reason why. I fucking hate petrol stations.
They aren't. Rather
nice go to them as few times. Oh, so thanks to you, I filled up my car the other day without having to get out of it. So this is a little.
I can't believe that this is a thing now.
So good. So you Apple Pay pre-authorize the amount that you want to fill up. So I say £60.
Yeah.
And then go to the car, put in the petrol thing, take the cap, and wedge that under the handle, and then get back in the car, and just sit for a bit until it's full.
I don't know how that's
Hold
possible.
on, go through that again.
So you unscrew the cap, and then when you put the nozzle in, you squeeze the thing, and then you wedge the cap underneath it, and it's the perfect size to hold the thing as if you were squeezing the petrol nozzle, and then you can go and sit in your car. So if it's bad weather or if it's cold or something, you're just chilling in your car.
So when you say without having to get out of it, you don't mean
you had to get out of it twice, but for a brief time.
Right.
But you paid at the pump, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I didn't have to go to the kiosk.
I see.
To deal with the person.
So is the lid, presumably the lid's not designed
It's not
to
built.
be.
It's definitely not built for that.
Do you not think?
No, I'm
Some
certain.
people carry a tennis ball and wedge it underneath.
It's
quite clever.
I don't like having my hand on it because it's covered in fuel, and it means that your right hand sticks to fuel for the rest of the day.
Little gloves, don't they? So
they do little gloves. I didn't think that's what they were for.
What do you think they were for?
I don't know.
Just having them delegated.
If a cow needed inseminating, round the corner.
In case you had to, cut some turkey for a customer, then you'd have the gloves.
Yeah.
Isn't it in the US? Don't they have people working at petrol stations?
They do. They do in a lot of places. They do in the UK as well. They do the Shell just down the road in Gosforth. They have that, but it's just
Do you have
it's
to
like
tip them, or?
peak time. No,
I see.
It's in peak
Is that
time.
just to get people through the door quicker?
Yeah, it will be
That's
because they
interesting.
can just rattle people through. But that's a reason to go to a premium premium fuel station rather than going to like Tesco One.
So I was just looking it up. It costs £3.64 to charge an electric car, or it's free at the public charge
For a
points.
range of probably about 300 miles if you get a good one.
So Tesla give you a solar panel to put on your garage, and then it comes down, like the cable can come down and plug it.
I'm so sold on a Tesla.
That's just really expensive.
Yeah. But you can get a
The new one that
S.
they're bringing out.
No, you can get a Model S, which is the one that's been around for a while. It's kind of the saloon style one. There's some good ones of that's not super basic, floating around for about sort of 60 grand now. And you think like, what can you
That's
get?
still a high end car though, isn't it?
It is, but look at what you get for it.
Yeah, you do get an awful lot.
So spacious inside as well.
Yeah, they're massive.
So it's a luxury car that's faster than like 99% of things. It's so fuel efficient, so cheap to run.
Yeah.
Like
No
lease
tax.
one or get one second hand, I suppose.
I mean, even on PCP, that'd be £5,000 down, 800 quid a month, 700 quid a month, maybe. Which is a lot of money to pay for a car. But your alternative would be like, for that money, you'd be looking at like a 3-litre turbo diesel Q7, like a nice Q7 or something like that, which is probably 500 quid a year in tax.
yeah, you
And
save on tax and fuel.
60 quid a fortnight
Yeah,
in fuel.
yeah.
Yeah, the fuel thing is the
The chew with them is like, well, they've got like a 300-mile range.
You can get the absolute top end ones that I think are the 100D, you can get about 350 out of them, which is one of the reasons that I haven't seriously looked at them, because I can't 100% get myself to Manchester and back on
Yeah, so
a
that's
single
it. So you'd have
charge.
to find a Tesla charging point and that's it's not.
if you're not near one imminently, you really.
But that's the thing, is that's only going to become less prohibitive with time.
Yeah, so I think when the infrastructure is fully in place, that's when.
Laughing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But then it'll just, diesel and petrol will just get phased out, won't it?
Well, even, I think is it not all cars are moving to diesel within the next decade?
Petrol.
really.
All petrol?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Diesel's getting phased out.
Is it the other way?
Yeah.
Get a silly little hybrid car or something in the meantime, and then hope for the best.
Nissan Leaf.
Nissan Leaf.
Is
That
that
was
hybrid?
£3.64.
I think they're pure electric. Loads of the
You can get like Prius.
Ubers.
How long have fucking Prius has been around for?
they get really criticised because of their engines or whatever. It's not like something like the engine creates the battery life,
Right.
so it's not like you don't plug it in.
Yeah. No.
But,
That's the same as a BMW i8.
Yeah, it is.
That's a hybrid, right?
It is.
Yeah.
But a Leaf apparently beats like most sports cars over the first 20 meters or so. Just
Well, you get
the way
ridiculous
electric
torque,
engines work, yeah.
You get 100%. You get all of the power available immediately.
yeah. Which is why Tesla is so frightening.
Well, I mean, have you ever played Scale Electric?
Yeah,
Like you pull the trigger and
Yeah.
that thing's fucking away.
yeah.
That's true.
So like those big articulated lorries, like if they are, because you've seen how fast they go, like faster.
Have you seen the keynote? Have you seen the keynote where they're pulling away at the same laden? Oh man, it is. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens, I suppose, because
They're going to have a safety thing because it's very in traffic. You know, like sometimes you're glad that it doesn't pull off so fast because you could have easily just gone to the car
I
in front.
suppose so.
There's loads of Tesla like self-drive videos of like Teslas avoiding collisions and stuff.
Have you
on
seen?
YouTube.
There's a video that I saw the other day of an S class. So the S class Merc is always the one that's got the absolute
Like the
top end new technology, and it's a video of what is presumably, it looks like an Arabian guy driving down a street, and it's just him in the back seat with no one else in the car.
Oh god!
With his feet across the center console, with his socks on, reading as the car just drives itself.
That's
on.
the fucking
Huge
dream.
balls.
That isn't it? But like, so like all of the benefits of public transport,
Yeah, exactly.
but with none of the
Privacy and
downsides.
quiet.
Yeah.
And, it'd be amazing. It'd be absolutely great.
Yeah.
I
Think
hope
how
we're-
how
There's a
productive you'd be.
Oh my god.
There's a big
Sleep.
It would take away any problem with like I want to live closer to work or whatever, because it suddenly makes your commute so comfortable that you may as well.
You do anything in the drive, can't you? Like sleep longer, watch a film. Yeah, like
brush your teeth. You could bring a little bath bag and like continue doing your morning routine.
But the argument would be to get like a Ford Transit van that does that, and then kit the back out as just a room in your house.
Yeah.
As a house on wheels.
Oh my god. I'm so excited about that.
Getting such a hard on for the optimizer.
For your future Ford Transit van that's fully electric.
I'll go and live in the Shetlands. I don't care. Like I'll go live in the Shetlands.
Wherever it's cheapest. Yeah. Get the best yield. Right, let's do quick fire rounds. We'll go back round once.
So Anki for me.
Oh, that's what you used to study with for med school, right?
Yeah, well remembered. So it's a spaced repetition software based on a lot of the evidence showing that the act of actively remembering something, the act of recall, is the thing which cements it in memory. It's not repeated exposure, but it's repeated retrieval. And so Anki helped me to perform quite well in my exams a couple of years ago in med school. Last year I didn't really use it as much, unfortunately, but that was just because I was being lazy and overstretched. But I made 6,000 flashcards and just reviewed them, and it gives you analytics, and so you reviewed each of them maybe 3 or 4 times over, and by that point you're pretty familiar with the material. So I think for anyone that has to memorize a large amount of information in a short time, it's probably the best way to actively cement it in.
So you can use this, you create your own cards and then it quizzes you on the cards you've made.
You can create your own, or there are, I mean, for something like medicine where it's quite unanimous topic, like there are many
there's ubiquitous rules, right? Like,
so loads of people have made decks themselves, which is free. So
that's such a fucking good resource.
Yeah,
I'm going to guess like for learning stuff like languages and things like that. Maybe not.
There's loads of packs for languages.
Are they reviewed?
They're not, but you can usually tell. Like, so there's one called Flash Finals, which is like split into cardiology, neurology, endocrinology, and stuff, and it's all like they give you sources at the end of each. Whoever's made the flashcards has
knows what they're doing.
Yeah,
it's just quite an insidious thing, isn't it? Like if you made the flashcards and it's just a bit wrong, like slightly wrong.
Yeah, it's why I don't always want to rely on people's decks, because sometimes people like, what is this person?
Yeah, you're assuming that they've just copied out a textbook or
That's pretty fucking cool though, and it's there's a mobile app, and I'm going to guess that there'll be
the mobile app's £20 for iPhone. But I was like, I'm paying $9,000 for my.
If you've paid £20 for a mobile app, there is no greater accolade.
If he's paid for an app, it's just get it straight away.
I don't know why I'm not even studying medicine or anything.
Still get it.
Right,
I should have it.
It's like
if you've got an Android phone, the one redeeming thing of having an Android is that it's free.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Easy to develop apps, isn't it, for Android?
Yeah, it's open. I think it's like a bit more open source. Johnny, have you got one?
Green smoothies. Have I said that? No.
You're drinking one this morning.
I was, yeah. You clocked it. So, I find just generally like vegetables and fruit and like managing my like the quality of my diet a bit of a pain in general.
Same for me.
Well aware that it's something. I think like everyone feels like they should probably have more fruit and vegetables. Like even like
very few people
flexible diet.
Even vegans probably need more fruit.
So everyone's like, I could probably do with having more fruit and vegetables.
I don't know anyone that's like, I think
I'm
I
having
too
enough.
many vegetables.
Yeah, precisely.
I should really cut down on my vegetable intake.
So like, I just don't like it being something like at the end of the day. If you're like, I don't need vegetables today.
It's like eating a pack of peppers.
Yeah, like how can I fudge it into this? And so instead, just breakfast for me is green smoothie.
What goes into a green smoothie?
Spinach, blueberries, banana, scoop of protein powder, and I add like my like creatine and stuff like that. So take all my supplements. So there's like a reasonable hit of micronutrition and like all of the like health stuff that I feel like I should do is done.
What blender would you recommend?
I don't think it really matters. I think.
What are you using?
It's I can't remember the brand.
Not like a NutriBullet.
No, it's a jug on a stand.
It's like an old schooly one. Right?
Yeah. Like, I think like my
dad's got a NutriBullet, whatever that is.
I think is that the one where you clip it in and it's the cups that also
fancy,
the trouble with them.
So does that detach as a flask that you can carry around?
The trouble with them is so often, especially if you're using protein powder, it expands. and because it's sealed when you put it on,
it's going to
take it off. And
yeah. Okay, so did you go anywhere to find recipes?
No.
So you put how much spinach?
200 grams.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I'm convinced.
I mean, that's Jesus Christ.
Oh no, hold on.
You can't be 200 grams.
No,
That would fill the kitchen.
No, so you. Maybe it isn't 200 grams, but it's a lot. It's a lot of spinach. Like it's not like a pinch of leaves.
How much is
it's like I'm talking the thick end of nearly a bag.
A tree of spinach.
How have you
frozen
optimized the stock management?
So weekly shop, you get don't buy frozen spinach. That is so important. Like I cannot repeat that enough.
You told me this story. Why not?
So
it
comes in like little pucks, like a hockey puck.
Okay.
So you get a bag of frozen spinach. It's loads of little hockey pucks of spinach. You think that'll be fine.
Yeah.
Throw those in. Press go on the blender and it goes like. You're like, oh my god, what's going to happen here? And then you drink it. You're like, it's the first time you panic. Turn it off. You're like, check.
It's all right.
No, nothing's happened. Okay, I'll just leave it. And I've still got anxiety about leaving the blender. So even now, I'm gradually so funny.
Do you just back off?
The stuff that you do when you're in the house by yourself.
Do you slowly move away from like you would do with a dog that's baring its teeth?
Yeah. So what I'll normally do, I make my breakfast. I'll have coffee, green smoothie. So even now this morning, put everything in, press go. There's been a few instances where I've like you're a bit tired. You're like, just put stuff in. Slightly like get the quantities wrong, and it starts flowing over the thing.
Oh no.
So like you just press go, and I'm like, I'll go make my coffee. I'm making it, and I'm like,
just looking at it from the side while you're making your coffee on the other side of the room.
Stop it! Come on, it's been fine. It's fine every morning. And so yeah, pucks of spinach, and plus they don't blend, so you're drinking it, and suddenly you get hit with a puck of spinach. That's still frozen and it's minging. Like, it's so bad. So buy fresh.
I've made that mistake before and it's bad.
Oh god, it's just not worth it. It's not more cost efficient or anything. It's just worse. So even like end of line spinach, fresh spinach, freeze it as soon as you get home.
Yeah,
and it's good for.
And then do you put it in frozen? Do you not defrost it?
Yeah,
right
put it in frozen. So fresh spinach frozen goes very
flaky.
So you can compress it.
Yeah, okay.
So you put it in, and then I, with my fist, push it down.
Yeah.
Blueberries, banana.
Frozen blueberries?
Frozen blueberries, fresh banana.
Because I think the frozen spinach must be partially boiled or something, because it's and then like compressed, and it must be because
to get it into a puck.
Yeah, because it's minging.
Oh, I see.
It'll have to be in like some sort of shaping machine.
Well, because they're just going for capacity in the bag, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure. So okay, so you throw all of that.
So it doesn't taste. It's not like the nicest thing in the world, but it's like
is it sufficiently palatable that you don't?
Yeah, you don't drink because there's some fruit in there and a bit of protein powder. You don't drink it and think, oh my god, that's a spinach drink.
Yeah,
like there's a slight taste of it.
Okay,
but if you look up,
it's quite refreshing. It's quite
yeah. Plus, I just feel so cleansed.
What are the reported benefits coming from you?
So
fantastic.
One white wonders.
Honestly, it turns your pooing into a timetabled event.
Wow.
Like you could be more confident on your poos than like the time the news comes on. Like
the passage of the sun is now done to the tune of your bowel movement.
And there's something that Kelly Starrett said that I still remember. That he must have said it like casually offhand years ago, which is if every day, obviously this only applies to men. Let's not get the gender thing. It applies to people with a functioning penis.
Yeah.
So if you wake up every day, if you wake up with an erection and you have a good poo, you're probably fine health-wise.
I love how that's just an overarching metric.
But I really like how simple it is.
Yeah.
And like, there's probably quite a bit of truth to it.
Yeah.
So, just very. If you grade your poo on the Bristol poo scale, like. You're pretty much exactly where you need to be.
Bang on the money.
Yeah. Like, it's just a bunch of fibre, isn't it? And it's a big, like, it's like domestos going through your system.
Yeah.
It's going to flush stuff out.
Yeah. That sounds... I'm going to do it. I'm going to try it. You've brought me in on slow cooking, and I'm slow cooking now.
So it's great for you because it's really fast. Just really convenient. And, like, also you can... once you've made it, you can just have it while you're like getting your stuff ready.
Around
And which I can't really be bothered with like making breakfast in the morning.
Yeah.
So it's really easy.
I'm all right with making breakfast because I need to eat, but
plus like put it in a protein shaker, take it with you.
Yeah.
Just wash
Is
the
it not?
protein shaker.
Do you not find because it's frozen? Is it not like really fucking cold?
Not as much as you'd think.
Okay. So I remember I used to mix frozen blueberries in with Greek yogurt, protein powder,
Really cold,
and it would actually freeze the fucking.
So eating them, I think there's something about
whisking.
breaking it up. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But like, what's nice about that combination is that's your blank canvas.
Spinach, banana.
If you want to add in mango, papaya,
So why have you settled with those ingredients?
Just because it's nice. I know the quantities off the top of my head. I don't have to think about it. Like, it's not expensive.
Relatively minimal calories as well. Like
it's like 200, 300 calories or something.
If you start adding
there isn't any raspberries in there.
Stuff, it's going to be
Plus, like buying a bag of mango. You could buy mangoes.
Asda now do diced mango and pineapple together.
Really?
Which is really good.
In the frozen, when you go and have a look at some of the options for frozen fruit and vegetables,
unbelievable.
People have taken it to a real extreme.
You can buy smoothie bags.
Bits of like cucumber.
Don't do it. I've tried it.
I've got in there as my shortcut for slow cooking now is to buy pre-prepped, chopped 1 kilo bags of vegetables.
It's the best, isn't it?
So it's the
just mixed
potato,
veg.
and there's probably tiny little bit of some kind of marinade that they've been thrown in with
soup mixes or whatever. And
tiny little bit, and then you throw that in: meat, stock, water, pepper, salt, cumin. Done. 8 hours. Wake up the next morning.
So
that's a full day's eating. So my final one is one that I don't think I've even told you two about, although you may know. VSCO Cam.
Oh yeah,
I'd mentioned this to you before. VSCO Cam. So it is an app.
It's giving away your secrets.
I know I am. Well, this is an actual proper life hack. So VSCO is basically a photo editing app. It's free although there's an upgrade, as with everything, to get the super big dick version. And it's kind of similar to Instagram without the posting functionality. So you've got a bunch of preset filters on there. But the filters on there are fucking unbelievable. So one of the ways that I've managed to make a lot of the screen grabs from podcasts look really good isn't by going on desktop and doing it on Photoshop. It's by using B1 or A2, the two.
A5.
A5. Yeah. Was it A5? A5 on VSCO, and it looks awesome. It just does. There's like a whole Hype Beast. Have you heard of that? It's like a kind of like a website for supreme and like super trendy streetwear.
Right.
They released 2 exclusive filters through VSCO, and about once every month there'll be a free one that you can download, and you just, as long as you make sure you're online and you add it to your pack, you end up with this thing, and you can do all sorts of mad shit with it. Like you can add grain. The sharpness is a lot finer and can also go a lot higher than you can on Instagram. So especially if you're looking to create a brand, if you're doing any sort of Instagram or Tumblr, or even sort of, I guess, with Facebook and Twitter as well, when you need to spend a little bit of time making sure that your pictures look perfect, there's a lot more customizability through this app. So what I tend to do is go into VSCO, throw a batch of filters, then you can batch export as well. Put it through Instagram, do the final little tweaks. And
does it save them in an Instagram dimension?
No. So you can crop to whatever you want.
Right.
But always the best way to do it is to export as full size, full aspect, and then crop on Instagram. Because if you crop it before and then realise that you need to zoom out, you can't. But if you export full size and then crop in from there, then you've got as much of the image to play with as you can. And that's VSCO. It's free. It's on App Store and whatever the equivalent is for iTunes. They're for Android.
Do you already have one?
Google Play. Yes, but I was going to ask you, why did you say don't buy the pre-made smoothie?
Something that's just been...
It's been niggling, but I was like, I can't.
So what I will do, and I imagine you're the same, is I would buy it because of the exotic fruit in there.
Yeah.
So like you would buy like
one with rhubarb. And
and then you get it and you pour it out and you're like, right, this is mainly cucumber,
melon
with a little bit of So they under provide on the like what is obviously the rare, more expensive fruit because you think
the rare fruit.
Yeah,
They nail the like misshapen banana or like I see.
So like what you're getting is just frozen versions of regular like plain fruit, which it like is fair enough. I understand why they do it, but they're just doing it for people who want to just the sort of person who makes like puts that plus like some yogurt in a smoothie maker and has it in the morning. I just think once you've had like the purpose of a smoothie is not for like a nice thing. It's extremely
the purpose of a homemade smoothie.
Yeah.
Because Innocent have just got that game on.
On
the thing you cannot beat Innocent smoothies for taste, and I've tried.
Yeah.
Tropicana have just started venturing into the smoothie market, and
I think they should stick to orange juice with bits and without bits, and just
great orange juice. But no, the thing is as well with Innocent smoothies, you can go, and I did. You remember when you came in before, and in my fridge there was like a case of it.
So nice, yeah.
It was on £2 or £1.50 for like a litre, and I just caned it. And you're like, right, brilliant. I'm sorry.
That red one.
Yeah, so good.
They're just so decadent, aren't they? You can't believe that it's healthy.
Yeah.
Because it tastes so intensely sweet.
That's what happened. You in 3 years' time, when you've refined the exact amount of spinach, blueberries,
and I've got you coming, and I've got like a
fucking elixir.
Set up a lab in an industrial estate.
Yeah, there's conical flasks everywhere, and doing it out the back of an RV in the middle of the Arizona desert. Yeah,
do you get that?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good reference.
You watched Breaking Bad.
Just finished it. It was a stressful experience.
What most people enjoy.
Why did you ask if I'd got one?
Well, just because Chris did an image branding one, and I imagine if you and I went into the propane world, there's so much shit.
Oh, I see.
So I was thinking,
there's loads. I think that's a whole other episode of it itself, isn't it?
What do you mean?
Just the stuff we use, like the stuff that makes things.
You do like propane tools, because I think all of these are personal tools that we're saying so far.
Yeah. When you get to business, when you're talking about how to expedite. Like if I could do,
you've got loads on like dodgy Facebook
plugins and stuff like that. I could sit and do.
All right, we'll do that another time.
Yeah, fine. Like I think social media. I'm sitting down with bloody hell. So coming up soon, I've got Johan Hari, author of Lost Connections. I'm absolutely shitting my pants to sit down with him because he's a fucking like an absolute monster, an intellectual behemoth. So I'm sitting down with him tomorrow. I'm sitting down with Corey Allen.
Really?
Creator of Releasing to Now All Carcasses. A balloon. Yeah. Breathing in.
Running at you over a purple mountain.
Smoke. So his voice, I want to find out if his voice actually sounds like that or if he puts it.
I think it sounds exactly like that.
Have you heard his podcast?
No. Does he sound like that?
Yeah.
No. I wanted to not listen to any of his stuff before I chatted to him. I've been tempted to listen to it for ages, but then I knew he was coming on, so I was like, right, I'm going to start.
I think that's wise.
So that's going to be the first one of Modern Wisdom that's actually been based around meditation. So I'm going to go from beginning to deepening your practice. I'm going to try and find if there's some principles for practice and some confirmed adaptations that he thinks. So we're going to find like no matter what level you're going into meditation at, you're going to learn some shit.
Good question.
And then him, Johan Hari, and Tuesday this week, hopefully, I'm going to get Quinn Hennick, Juggernaut Trading Systems. And that is going to be unbelievable. Some of his videos are fantastic. The ones that he does about, it's going to be, hopefully, I'm going to try and get him onto the line of thinking about mobility myths. So
he loves that stuff, doesn't he?
He's just he's like a Mythbusters, like debunker for everything to do with
He's
mobility.
like anti-stretching, anti-foam rolling, just does he not have those people do the 90-90 hip thing?
He does a bunch of stuff. He's not necessarily anti. I think that he just understands very well. His website is clinicalathlete.com.
Right.
So he just understands physiologically what the adaptations are and how you can best utilize them. So you're going to learn about mobility. You're going to learn Johan Hari, Lost Connections, like fuck knows what I'm going to learn there. Like he'd written what appears to be the seminal meta-analysis on depression and anxiety for the modern world. He's also, Johan Hari's just, as of 4 weeks ago, taken a 6-month break from social media.
That'll be cool to learn about that.
He's nailing it. So thanks very much.
You're going to end up doing that, aren't you?
6-month break now, it would kill me. I can't. I'd love to. I can't wait until the day when I don't need to be on social media. But for as long as we have
maybe that day will never come.
For as long as we have an events company, that's not going to be possible.
Why don't you pay me and Yusuf? No, actually, no, forget about it.
I'm not sure that. I think it would.
Yusuf just went rabbit in headlights.
Why don't you just pay me?
What do you mean? No, just
So,
pay us. Just pay us.
if you had to make a manual of Chris, so like this is how to be Chris. Make a Stephen manual of Chris, and then say like in these situations, so like
if X, then Y,
and the Y is just tell me. So like once a day,
pass it up the chain.
Someone comes, sits there, has like a Ovaltine, and tells you,
"This is what happened today.
This is what happened today, Chris. These are the things you need to know."
How would you like to move forward?
Or and just calls you on your light phone and
my light phone's going to arrive
during office hours.
Well, I got
very
one.
good.
I got one.
It could definitely it could be done. Could definitely be done.
Could be done.
And it would be the most interesting project ever.
Yeah.
Ever. All time, from all of history and for all of the future. This will be the
that's quite a prospect. Like we're going to launch the most...
we're on the cusp of that.
I know, it could be you.
What a time to be alive.
Wow.
It is. Right, thank you. We were supposed to talk about relationships this evening.
Right, you never did your thing. Or were you the last one?
Oh yeah, I didn't do my thing. Oh wait, you were last. Okay.
Yeah, that was it.
To be honest, I was.
It was Anki.
We'll call it. Let's
Anki,
call it.
Yeah, it was going to be slow cooking, but you kind of discussed that already.
We'll do slow cook. We'll do proper debrief on slow cooking next time.
That'll be good because I've just made that cider chicken one.
How was it? How did it come out?
Really good. Would recommend.
Would you?
Yeah.
Man, that Evernote. I'm going to make that Evernote public. That set of recipes.
Sell it, man.
It's just
business.
Reselling someone else's recipe.
Convert to 3%. Business. Right. Okay. Bye, Dan.
Bye.
Goodbye, Dan.
Okay, bye, Dan.